Good morning, traders. So we're still using the Bill Williams theory, and we're going to apply that to the Aussie, the South African top 40 now. So the last 4 days have been complete indecision all over the place days. So we have ended up with another indecision bar. We had a nice pin bar on Thursday. We then had an indecision bar on Friday. Then we have another one on Monday, and also gaps all over the place. So yeah, it's kind of a difficult one to trade at the moment, and it's not. I see a lot more opportunities in the Dow and the Dax at the moment. Price action is playing perfectly well, and you can read it correctly. But this here is just crazy. So let's just start off with our good old friend Tencent. They're up 0.8% at the moment. Rand dollar 14.37, so that's not helping at all. It has got weaker. Normally with a weaker rand, we get a market that rallies a bit, and I see we did rally through the day, but we sold off again. And I suppose that was because the US sold off in the beginning, and then the buyer stepped in halfway through the session. So what do we have on the daily? There is pretty much nothing I can show you here, apart from the fact that what we do have is we've got this downward trend line. Okay. And the other thing that is kind of niggling me is that. Okay. So if you look at this pattern, you'll see we've got 1, 2, 3, this is 4 touches at this level, and a sloping top. So that is a flat bottom triangle. Now, it's not normally a bottoming pattern. It's normally a top pattern. So it's not to say that it can't be a bottom pattern. It's very possible that it can be a bottom pattern. And I think the scary thing about that will be the target, because the target is going to be sort of this level here on a break. I suppose it doesn't really help us doing this, because we're going to have to go back quite a few years to find what that target is, and it's down on the bottom here, which is 38,888. Okay, so that would be fairly interesting, to say the least. Anyway, so let's just get down to levels that we can trade. 4 hour, you can see here, every session is grouped with indecision. No continuity apart from the downward trend. And the other problem that we've got is we are sort of bouncing 1,000 points at the time. We're gapping 500-point gaps. So nothing really to write home about. But if we start looking at price action, you'll see here that we've got diversions. So there's a low and a lower low. Here is a low, a higher low, or even a double bottom. Okay, ignore the gaps now. So what you do have is you've got a double bottom. Obviously, for the double bottom to play out, we need a 4-hour close above 45,595. Okay, get a 4-hour close above that level, then you have potential for it to play out. Okay, so let's just get down to the hour. That's the only thing I'm really interested in right now. And again, it looked like a nice double bottom that we got. We rallied, we came off. Okay, and the reality is we didn't really hit any targets. So that's not my inside tail, but I do have inside tails there, and we fell short. So I would kind of expect another attempt to close this tail. After that, I'm not 100% sure what's going to happen with this thing. And I think for me, again, it's going to be a case of leave it alone. Any of your range strategies, sort of closing range breakouts, opening range breakouts, are all, you're getting, I suppose there you would have got it right. You would have stressed a bit with this pullback, but no, you wouldn't have, because you wouldn't have traded it. So here you would have got it right, but again, your 500-point stop loss. Anyway, the wise man number one is definitely something to play for on the half hour if you look here. So wise man number one, which is basically this one here, and then you've got another one here. So you want to trade the break. So if I do that, you're looking for price to break up above here. That's your long entry. And I wouldn't even worry about wise number two, because wise man number two would be the third green bar here, a break of that, which is there. It would have worked out, but look at the size of the stop you would have had to have. Anyway, if we look at what happened yesterday, just a lot of sideways action, nothing really to write home about at the moment. So let me just get down to the ichimoku. Maybe that's going to give us a little bit more insight. So on the half hour, trend is still down. We are flat at the moment. So in other words, ranging. Okay, and you can see prices agreeing with that. Flattened out on the hour, flat cloud, ranging, nothing really to look at there. Flat, ranging, nothing to look at there. And on the daily, flat, ranging, indecision, nothing to look at. Okay, so that doesn't help us at all. And the other one that we can look at is Bollinger Band. So the daily is coming together for a squeeze. Oscillators aren't really lining up nicely. We may have a potential squeeze breakout, but this could be a break to the downside, or it could be a fake out for a move to the upside. So let's just have a look at here. Nothing there really, and nothing really there either. Okay, so the half hour is definitely coming towards a squeeze. We are flirting with the 20 moving average on this squeeze. So this middle line is the 20 moving average. Oscillators are grouping for downside. So there is potential for a bounce here. So I'll get down one level lower. And we are flirting with a 20 again on the 12 moving average. Sorry, on the 12 minutes time frame. Okay, so just putting that all together. Let me just see if there's something that I can see here. So we're probably going to have a gap up at this stage. It's looking very much like we're going to have a bit of a gap up. The Nasdaq did finish up 1% yesterday, and the Nasdaq futures at the moment is down 0.38%. The Dow Jones finished flat, and the S&P finished flat as well, and they're both slightly down. So I would say we are looking at a move to the upside. So this pattern here is also a sort of a story of threes. So there's actually four tails, but there's three tails, and the tails are getting are pointing up in the upward direction. So that to me is one of my reversal patterns, and this is on the 12 minute. I like to see it on the higher time frames, but I will settle for the 12. That's not an issue. And I think the critical element here is going to be that fractal and that fractal. Okay, so this fractal level here is going to be 44,646. So a 12 minutes close above that fractal would give me a long entry with your stop below this fractal. A break of that fractal will also be a valid long entry based on the alligator. So the break will be above the alligator. Okay. So you can see here we've broken through the alligator. We've come back to test the break. So now what I'm looking for is a break the upside. So I think definitely looking for longs. and your immediate target is going to be this gap here, which lines up with the 200 moving average on the 12 minutes. So your immediate target is going to be 45,044. What does that give us? That gives us sort of a 370 point trade for a 321 risk. So it's a 1-to-1 trade. Okay. And yeah, I think that's kind of my view of the land at the moment. And the interesting fact is that these two fractals line up with the closing range, so the last hour of trading. I just want to put a Fibonacci on this quickly. Just want to see where our 61.8 extension is. So the first one would be a break there. My second one would be pretty much near the gap close. So that would also make sense. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of my view for this morning. I'm going to drop down just to the 6 minute quickly, just to double check here. Lots of indecision at the close. That's the only thing that's bugging me. But yeah, I think that would be a fairly safe trade. 350 point stop loss. But what we were looking for is a break above 44,646 and stop below here. Okay. And bear in mind that I think you're only going to get action from around 10 o'clock South African time. So when Europe opens. Okay, so just bear that in mind. Be patient. Wait. What you may find is this thing sort of bounce back down, which is also fine. If it does bounce further down, it would interest me in taking a long off that. Okay, so that's kind of my view at the moment. I'm not 100% confident with this one, so I'm kind of almost in a mode to say just leave it and wait for a better setup. But there is a potential for a setup here. I don't like the tails to the upside, but with this instrument, often you get this kind of view off a level and then it reverses. So the trend is down. Just bear that in mind. The trend is strongly to the downside. So, and we do have a potential flat bottom triangle, but we also have potential bottom here. So the buyers are waiting here for some reason. They see value at this level, and the level is around 44,370 to 44,300, more likely, or 44,300 area. So they do see value here. So I think I will trade with them. So anyway, that's my view at the moment. These two 12-minute fractals are the ones I'm waiting for. You can pick it up with the 15-minute as well. You'll see 2 15-minute fractals lining up here. Those are the levels you want to watch. Just make sure that the fractal break is above the alligator for a long and it's below the alligator for a short. Okay, and if we do break this to the downside, where's my Fibonacci here? So if we do break this to the downside, then we have a few targets in mind. That's there, and the next one's going to be down there. And that would break this previous swing low. And we're going to have to go back quite far in time to find anything that is going to give us support. And that is a pretty serious worry. Okay, so I've got to go back way too far. Okay. So anyway, that's kind of my view for this morning. That's the way I look at it. There is potential for some upside, but pick a lower time frame and trade off those fractals. And it's just it's a nice coincidence that these two fractals are formed in that last hour of trading yesterday, and that normally what happens is when you break this the last hour of trading, that dictates the feel for the next day. Even with what's been going on, you can see here I broke the last hour to the upside, and although we trended down, in actual fact the trade played out to the upside. The last hour down before recovering. So okay, and that one failed. This one was also worked out. This one worked out for 2 bars and then failed. So yeah, it's not concrete. It's not 100%, but I think that's kind of the view that I have at the moment. And also in saying that, I do see a better opportunity on the DAX. It's a lot clearer than what we see here. But I'm kind of 50-50. So that's anyway. I'm rambling now. That's the trade. I'm looking for a break of either of these fractals for a trade, and I'm a bit skeptical about going short. This level is just way too big for me to play short off, even if it is a break below it, because to me it'll be short-lived. Excuse the pun, but it won't be a deep continuation move. It's going to be a short-lived move. More buyers will step in here and then it may range as well. Okay. Anyway, that's my view of it for today. I'll watch and see what happens. If we get that fractal break to the upside, I'll definitely trade for the gap close. But after that, I'll take my money off the table and wait and see. Anyway, guys, that's me for today. I hope it helps, and I will catch up with you later. Cheers for now.